Hello, welcome back. NBC teased that John would continue fighting with strong emotions. John couldn't contain his anger after having an aneurysm, so he said and did things he wouldn't normally do. Sammy is sure to face a fierce outburst from John, causing her to dodge the cactus he threw at her. Apparently, John is capable of being violent in this state. We also know John went out with Steve, who mentioned Tripp in a recent conversation. NBC allowed John and Steve to reconnect as friends, so that could be very important. After that conversation, Steve gives an interesting description of Allie to help Tripp know who he is. Steve calls Allie John's niece. Of course, John and Marlena have one of the most mixed families in Salem, so this is not unusual. Holly is the stepdaughter of Marlena's son, Eric, but she still calls John her grandfather. Likewise, John considers Allie as his niece, which is perfectly normal to consider Jarlena together for so long. What's intriguing here is that Steve used that phrase to describe Allie to Tripp, potentially staging the upcoming movie. Duel can stress that Allie is John's niece to show how defensible he will be against these Tripp rape allegations. Lately, it's not a good idea to make John rage because he can attack at any moment. John had some crises, but the worst is yet to come. NBC says that John's outburst will bring about some unforeseen consequences. Since John could not control himself and proved that he could become violent with his cactus throwing, what would happen next? When John got out of the hospital and heard what had happened to Allie, he might be going after Tripp. Naturally, we have no confirmation as to whether Tripp actually raped Allie. There have been some clues that suggest there's another culprit instead of Tripp. Regardless, Allie seems certain that Tripp is responsible, and that's certainly good enough for angry Grandpa John. Will John attack Tripp on the way? Days laid the foundation for it, so Tripp hopes Steve can intervene. It's easy to imagine John putting Tripp in a standstill and trying to strangle his life. No one raped John's niece and left her. NBC says some shockers are producing in Salem, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.